The biggest complaints about the UFC from the fans. What are they? Sometimes the fans are really happy with the UFC. We're getting the fights we want to see. And sometimes the fans are pretty upset, not happy with the fights that are being made. Dana White not doing what the fans want. It's all over the place sometimes. There's always going to be a mixture of the good and the bad. I found a tweet from ACD MMA asking, what is your number one complaint about the UFC right now? We're going to look at the replies and discuss some of these complaints. Do I agree? Do I disagree? Let's do it. Well, here's our first one. Belal Muhammad is champion at 170. Well, I don't think the UFC can really do much about that except give him the difficult matchups. I don't think the UFC is super excited about Belal Muhammad being champion either, but he deserves that title. He destroyed Leon Edwards in their fight, wasn't even a close fight, and deserved that slot as the champion. Is he the most entertaining champion? No, not really. Can he be pretty boring? Yeah, I think so. I am disappointed the fight with him and Shavkat has been canceled. That's kind of a bummer. I was looking forward to that one. I actually think I would be favoring Belal Muhammad in that fight, but I'm interested to see how long he's going to be champion. And as far as being an active champion, I do think he'll be more active than Leon Edwards was. So we'll see in time just how good of a champion he is, despite the personality that people don't like. Up next, no Conor McGregor. They fumbled his career. I'm going to disagree with this one. I agree on the fact that it's a bummer that Conor McGregor does not fight anymore. I don't think it's the UFC's fault. I think that's Conor McGregor's fault. I think Conor kind of fumbled his career on the path that it's been in. Kind of fell off a little bit, doing too much partying, too much nonsense, and he says he wants to fight, and then he doesn't. He pulls out of fights. Bro is all over the place right now, trying to start beef constantly with the Paul brothers. Who even knows what's going on there? He's kind of out of his mind, and I don't think that's on the UFC. I don't know what's going to go on because they don't want to release him to go box some celebrity boxer, but they can't get him to fight at the same time. So, hard place for the UFC there. It's no longer a sport. It was at once a combat sport and has steered so far from that. I wouldn't be surprised if we started to see content creators sign for one-fight deals. I think saying that the UFC is no longer a sport is a pretty big overreaction and not true in the slightest. However, I wouldn't be shocked if one day we saw someone like Logan Paul be signed for a one-fight deal. But the UFC has done this before with someone like CM Punk from the WWE, and I think someone like Logan Paul is at least a better choice for a one-fight deal than CM Punk was. I don't think that that is the most far-fetched thing, but I also don't see why it's no longer a sport. I feel like I don't know what they're doing that is so crazy that would make somebody think this. I feel like the matchups are still there. I think as far as the skill level, I think it's the best that it's ever been. And I think it's only going to get better as time goes on. Prices to attend events, it's outrageous for ticket prices right now, and people often would travel too. I am in California, and I'm pretty close to where the Anaheim UFC event was going to be, and looked into the prices because I was kind of interested in going. It is pretty outrageous. I'm not going to lie. It's much more expensive than a lot of other sports, and baseball, football, basketball, at least for where I'm at, all those kind of sports are available to go watch. The cheapest ticket I found at the time, I believe, was around $400, and it was pretty bad seats. Maybe that was just me. I don't know what was going on there, but I do think the ticket prices are a little wild. Lack of superstar talent. Most champions are boring fighters. Very little excitement and storylines that pull viewers in. I do think we are in a little bit of a shift right now from the old generation to the new generation, and we are still trying to figure out who those superstars are. I would say the biggest superstar right now is Alex Pereira. I think that's pretty clear, and his fights are awesome, and I think it does bring that level of excitement. I think as the older generation starts to get older and older, time will tell who those next generation of exciting fighters are going to be. I think guys like Khamzat Chimaev have the potential to do that. Sean O'Malley, who's still on the younger side, Ilia Topuria, guys who are going to continue to grow their names. And so I think as we transition in this time, those names are going to continue to get bigger and grow as more well-known names. As far as the champions being boring fighters, I think the heavyweight division is just a little bit clogged up. John Jones could be a pretty entertaining champion if he fought more. If him and Tom do fight, that will be awesome and great for the division. Alex Pereira is great for 205. I think Dricus du Plessis is actually a pretty entertaining champion for 185. 170 with Bilal Muhammad, not the greatest for entertainment. I also really like Islam Makhachev, also pretty entertaining. He's not just the wrestler like some people complain about. His stand-up game is there, and he has had some awesome fights. And then you have Ilia Topuria, another exciting fighter. Actually, he just vacated, so it's either going to be Diego Lopez or Alexander Volkanovski. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. Most of these champions, in my eyes, are pretty entertaining. Because then we have Pantoja as well at 135, and I'm a big fan of Pantoja. We're going to leave it off there. We went over a few of these complaints, some valid, some not so much, at least in my eyes. What do you guys think? What is your number one complaint about the UFC currently? And what do you like about the UFC? What are they doing right now? Let me know. Subscribe for part 2. Should I do a part 2? We're almost to our goal of 500 subscribers. The support is much appreciated. I'll see you next time. Peace.